Yes, man. So hands.
That's a really awesome question. A lot of people ask me that. I've heard this question via email. I've had personal conversations with people all along these lines. What kind of God is he that creates me and then gives me the option and then creates hell, and knowing that I'm going to disbelieve in him, end up in hell? The bottom line of this line of questioning is you want to blame God for going into hell. That's the bottom line. And the other bottom line is you feel as though you've one-upped God because you come up with a logical criticism, something God himself didn't think of. Or if God is so perfect, how come he didn't, or he's so merciful, how come he didn't take his mercy into account in creating hell? The way the Muslim approaches this is actually from a very fundamental point of view, not a philosophical one. The fundamental approach the Muslim has is God introduces himself to us in the Quran by saying, Alhamdulillah. All praise and gratitude belongs to God, belongs to Allah. Everything he does is praiseworthy, everything he does is perfect. That's our belief about God. God is perfect in every way. And everything he does should be appreciated, we should thank him for. After he tells us that nature of himself, immediately he tells us Rabbil Alameen, which means he's the master of all people and all nations. Now think about the word master. A master has complete authority over slaves, yes? And a master can punish slaves, reward them, leave them be, give them lots of work, give them no work. It's entirely up to the master.
Right.
Now, before God even told us he's a master, he already established that all praise and gratitude belong to him. Everything he does is praiseworthy. Everything he does is wonderful. You can't exactly say that about any other master. Any other master will do things that are, that are oppressive, that are unfair. That's what a slave can expect. They can expect to be coerced. They can expect to be tortured, etc., etc. But God first, before he even tells us he's a master, he says he's a praiseworthy master.
Right.
Then he goes on to say he's unimaginably merciful as a master. Now, before even talking about or proving God's mercy, because that's what's in question here in the questioner's mind, what kind of merciful God is this?
Right.
The problem is you're thinking of him as God and not as master. That's the real problem. If you accept the summary of the Quran, what does it want from people? I usually call it a one-liner. The summary of the Quran: accept God as your master, come to terms with the fact that you're a slave. If you come to terms with that fact and learn to trust him as a master, then everything he's done, everything he's created has a purpose, has wisdom. If you haven't come to terms with the fact that he's your master, he has authority over you. He's just someone who created you, and after that you have the right to question him and to criticize him and to do that. Then you've missed the fundamental premise of the Quran. Muslims don't ask these questions. Why not? Because we've accepted God as master. Now, he didn't just create a hell to throw people in it. The fact that the Quran, somebody asked me this recently, the Quran is very explicit, very graphic in its description of hell. I mean, it's really, really scary stuff in some places. So somebody asked, if this is a book of guidance, why go so explicit? You ever heard of the Scared Straight program? Right, where teens are messed up or they're heading towards a life of crime, and they bring someone who's done time in prison, who's gone down this road before, and they show them, look, I've been there, I know what it's like, it's not glorified, it's not fun, this is what happens to you. And the idea of it is, well, I'm not going to go down this road because I know somebody else who already has. Hellfire hasn't happened yet, but God will give us a picture as though it is happening right now, the point of which is to scare us straight. It's actually a mercy from God that he told us about hell. Whether you like it or not, it's there. Whether you come to terms with it or not, it's there. Whether you're uncomfortable with the idea of hell or not, it's there. So God's mercy is to let you know, here's what you can do to not be in it. That's God's mercy. Instead of saying, well, I don't want to believe in this faith because it has a concept of hell. Whether you like that concept or not will not change reality. It won't change reality. All you can do at that point is learn how to protect yourself. And I reiterate what I started in this interview with. God says he didn't create us for hell. He says, إِلَّا مَنْ رَحِمَ رَبُّكَ وَلِذَلِكَ خَلَقَهُم. Except for those whom your master shows mercy to, and that's why he created them, so he can show them mercy. One of my favorite quotes from the Quran, مَا يَفْعَلُ اللَّهُ بِعَذَابِكُمْ. What's God going to get out of punishing you? What's he going to do punishing you? He doesn't want to. He doesn't want to punish you. Our image of God has to be one that wants to be merciful, not one that wants to punish. That is not the image that we have in the Quran. And even the mention of punishment, in and of itself, is an act of mercy from God.